So I don't know if anybody wants to start or begin, but I feel like it would be a good place for us just to share, why are we here?
I guess I'll go. I'm the only one unmuted.
Destiny.
I don't know if it's even relevant or worth saying that it's needed more than ever, because it's always been needed to, to hold and create that space of unity and peace. But for the last 12 months, because I mingle and I work with general public, I know that this pandemic and the recent events have been bringing people together in many different ways, but I'm also seeing a huge amount of division. And what makes me emotional is that it's kind of becoming that it's not even about race or nation or, I don't know, different belief systems, but it's now coming between friends and family members. I just kind of feeling, and have been feeling for the last 12 months, that the division is kind of making its way deeper in some cases, but I think that the number is significant. And I think that we cannot allow that. Especially us who are aware that the unity is here and it's possible, and that we've been working to bring the unity on earth for such a long time.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I think you need to go next, Ben.
Okay.
Oh no, Rhiannon's now unmuted herself.
I'm happy to share, unless you want to go first, Ben.
No, go ahead, sister.
Well, I just want to start by sharing that I felt very emotional and do right now, just before this meeting, just really been thinking deeply about intentions surrounding what we're all doing together, as Jon has so wonderfully elucidated that it's so important that we are clear and become cohesive together around what we're working to do and why, and that needs to inform everything, all the other decisions, of course, that are made, and getting to know each other's hearts. I just want to start by saying I am so incredibly grateful to all of you. I love you all so much. That is the first reason that I'm here, because I know the hearts of every person here. You are such amazing human beings. It's such a gift to get to work with and co-create and explore these possibilities with you all. And I feel your love and your support. And some of us are just getting to work together for the first time, and yet I know you're already, I know you, and you're my family, and I'm so inspired by all of you and what you have created together already, and I'm just blown away by the brilliance of it. And I just know, I've shared with Ben that when I first worked with with Ben and Unity Earth on Unity Earth Liftoff, I was just starting to come more fully into my own. And you know, you believed in me and had faith in me on a level that I was still coming to have still in myself. And every time I go through this process with you all in different ways, it is such an incredible journey of learning, and I grow so much, and it's so humbling. But I know now more than I feel like I ever have before, that I'm in exactly the right place at exactly the right time with exactly the people that I'm supposed to be with, and that I am really living my purpose. This is my joy. I am alive with excitement and inspiration and hope, and just so amazed by what I can already see and what's already becoming and what I know will become. And I know it will be a step, and we'll continue that process of evolution, and that what we create and co-create together and really is a space for co-creation for everyone in this incredible community. And I hope to help to widen those circles and start to invite more people in while keeping the purity and the heart and spirit of this group from getting diluted by that. That's like a really huge step for a group to a community to take. And I'm really deeply committed to that, and honoring what you have built already and learning about that. I'm so excited and have so many ideas, but as I told Jon and all of you, I'm excited to learn more before, you know, so we get really clear about these intentions, and I make sure that, you know, whatever I can bring is serving the whole. And I just want to thank you from the depths of my heart for this opportunity. And it's going to be healing and it's just an incredible gift to me. And I'll give you everything that I possibly can. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rihanna. It's so wonderful to have you here. I'm here because, you know, for so many years, we're on the road to 2020 and we were called to these extraordinary, cosmic, prophetic gatherings around sacred places, and with, you know, just, it's really hard to describe. And yet then post 2020, you know, honoring all of that, and you know, being with Josh and Lalibela the other day, Arena, and you know, feeling Megiddo in every conversation, Jon, that we're in, and you know, feeling that lineage of Mungo and all of this collective, you know, it's the Indian saints and lineages, just feeling all of that at our back and by our side, and feeling a responsibility, perhaps, or certainly a stewardship of how do we pull that forward and push that forward and move that forward and advance that forward collectively with all of our beloveds around the planet. And you know, World Unity Week's just it's a week, but it's so much more than that. It's we're already in it, and it's this build up to it. It's a field, and it's calling us together. And so it's the evolution of the mission. It's the evolution of the mission, you know, we're all on. We've been on together with so many people around the planet, and it's the next stage of the journey. So, you know, that's very high and sacred. And somebody said the other day, it's a new person that I've met was saying, used the word that World Unity Week to her felt ordained, and I to say yes, that feels true to me too. And so I'm here to, you know, to show up for whatever I can do to serve that vision that's unfolding at that high, powerful, prophetic, cosmic level, and to, you know, boots on the ground with everybody to find a way to make it come through. And I'm excited, and I know we've got the right team. So, you know, I'm just, yeah, amazed, humbled, and grateful. And, we started with that song, Priya, at the top there of Hallelujah. And, it literally is a hallelujah moment. It's a hallelujah moment. So that's why I'm here.
Wow. Each of you, oh my gosh, my heart, I love each of you. I'm just so grateful just to know that each of you are on the planet, but the fact that we get to play these things into being is just such a joy and a gift to my life and to my heart, my work. The reason why I'm here, World Unity Week, it does feel ordained, Ben. It does. That is a really beautiful expression. And last year, when the coronavirus started to take hold, and I was playing with the word corona and karuna, karuna being that beautiful Sanskrit word for compassion, self and otherly compassion, I started to recognize that what was happening on the planet had already happened inside my body over a 7-year period when in my 30s, when I was very sick. And I can now suddenly see the illness of self-identity crisis, the global identity crisis that we have, all of so many of the things that happened inside my body. My body was attacking itself. And I had great pain. I had great emotional pain, physical pain. I had paralysis on my face. I had a hand tremor. I had a lot of physical things that limited a lot of things that I could do. I lost the trajectory of my career. And at the time, I thought that, hi, Laurence, welcome. I felt that I didn't know if I was going to make it. And I hit a lot of despair and a lot of depression. And so why I'm here for World Unity Week is I have experiences in my own personal story that reanimated hope inside of myself that I now feel a responsibility for as a 50-year-old person with a career experience in communication to bring forth this collective medicine that is the ordained World Unity Week to people who need it the most. There are many people here, we all need it, but there are people who are going to give up. And we need them to not give up. We need them to remember the gift of themselves. So every single thing that I do and the patience that I strive to draw to myself, to explain one more time how to do a Zoom share or whatever it is, that it could just tip me over the edge. I have this patience because I know that if we can help people find their way into this experience is going to bless them. They don't even have to do anything, just the gift of their presence is enough. And to reach those people through World Unity Week feels like the most important work that I can be doing right now. So they can find their own way, their own healing piece, their own way of expressing and releasing the oppression that so many people have felt, expressing their story. And so that's why I'm here, to take what I went through and to express it through World Unity Week and support as many people into the World Unity Week experience as possible.
So beautiful, Becky. Such a deep, deep, holy motivation. That's deep bows to you. Laurence, welcome. You're on mute. We're just taking the time.
Yeah, I was there at 5. Did this start at 5?
Yes, it did.
Oh, because I was at 5 and it said Sparkle meeting, so I didn't know what I was there at 5.
Oh, you must have been on the wrong link.
No
Okay.
worries. I'm glad you
No
found.
problem.
We did record it for you, so you can catch up.
Now, Laurence, this is a new constellation. It's a beautiful, powerful, invincible constellation. And we're just taking the time today to really make sure we do at least two things, which is to get to know each other's hearts a little bit and to then set a weekly pulse, which works for everybody. That's it. If we have a bit of time, we'll get into what people need, what people's needs are. But that's what we're taking the time to do. So thank you for coming. And you're here now, and that's the important thing. So we're just going around and we're asking, people are sharing at a deep level, Laurence, at a deep motivational level of why are we here? And there's been some very deep, powerful, sincere, emotional sharing, which is important for us because team cohesion is our number one priority. And beyond that, you know, all of the details and the decisions and the mechanics and the work and the roles, that's all going to come. It's all going to come. And we're just taking our time to take a breath. It's Holy Week, it's Passover, and it just feels really important that we settle in to this. So welcome. And whenever you're ready, you can either listen to another one or two, or you can jump in as popcorn style. But we're answering from the deepest part of ourselves. Why are you here?
No, so other people can go. That's fine.
Brother John is off. He's here.
Yeah. It's a variation on the 4 questions at the Passover table. The first one's, why is this night different than all other nights? Now, why are we here? And of course, you know, the truth is, I don't know, but I know I belong. And I know that whatever gifts I've been given were given to serve. And it's a privilege and an honor to love you, Ben, and be committed to what you've created, and to have found a companion like Becky along the way. And now as the story unfolds, the band expands. It seems to be ours to do. I mean, it seems very clear. Now, the world could use, like Irina was saying, this is a phrase Patricia Ann Davis used once. I love this. A vessel for traveling. A vessel for traveling to a new world. And some of you know I'm writing this paper. The revolution will not be televised. It's happening now on Zoom. Join us. And so my head is deep into this incredible moment that we're doing this at, and feeling as if that we have, it's kind of like, once we get clear on the picture, on the puzzle box, it'll get a lot easier to put the pieces together. But boy, the world could sure use a new model. And maybe it's an old model, actually. Maybe there's something we've forgotten along the way. But I truly believe, from what I've seen, if we be there now, right here, right now, in that way, what we will create will be wondrous. And it will resonate with the message of unity that a divided world, a world still in shock, you know, will gravitate to. And I'm here to stay open. And I think that's what I want to offer for myself and for the world, is that we need to open. It's okay to make space for people that in the past we didn't. And it's okay to maybe care for people in the past we ignored. So I'm here to serve, and grateful for it.
Beautiful, brother.
I guess I'll go next. I mean, I'm here, you know, the I'm here piece shifts and moves all the time. But I think for me, and I think I shared a little bit in the call this morning, is that I'm here because my heart brought me here. And World Unity Week last year was such a powerful and transformative experience for me personally. And it just being in that container and in that field, and part of the kind of lead up to it, shifted some kind of core patterns in me that I knew, because it's my stuff, right? But I hadn't had the ability to shift at that level And so I experienced this kind of potent transformation inside of me that was so powerful that I could know unequivocally how incredible that field was. Because it was just, I mean, it was just like unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. It just kind of blew my mind, quite honestly. And somehow, like in this last year, I mean, also like being a single parent living with 2 teenagers in a pandemic has certainly been interesting at times. It's kind of been a bit intense, and not seeing adults, not having touch, because my teenagers sometimes don't believe in hugs. It's just been very kind of isolating. So on the one hand, there's been a deepening of me as I've had space to go into my own inner being. But there's also been like the loneliness and the kind of misery and the anxiety and all the kind of stuff that has come up for so many people. And yet this last year has alchemized something in me. And I feel like it's allowed, so I was obsessed with this flower, it's that side, isn't it? It's kind of like alchemizing something that's allowing some part of myself to come into more harmony, like the masculine and feminine in me. And I feel like a flowering in my soul and being. And in that flowering, I find myself here with all of you. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty cool. Like, I mean, and the energy and just being with all of you. I mean, I just like literally since last year, I just keep meeting even more extraordinary people moment to moment, and all the incredible convening and converging that's gone on. It's like there's a kind of constellation of the same people weaving together. And each time I come into the space, it's like the field is potentizing and getting stronger and deeper and more profound. And it's kind of blowing my mind totally. And I don't even know at some level why I'm here. My heart's brought me here, but I don't know. But I feel it and I trust what I feel. And I do know that, you know, it's like that Margaret Mead quote. What is it? Something about never underestimate the power of a group. Or what is it? Something about a group of committed people coming together to change the world. And it's the only thing that ever has. Misquoting, but you know what I mean? It just feels like, you know, I know people say this all the time, but the time is now. And that's just like the nowness of it feels visceral and deep and potent and powerful and incredible. And just even in the assemblies that we've had together and this morning already, it's like, what can we do together? You know, let's do something. Well, what we're going to do is going to be extraordinary, because the field is already, and we haven't even started really. It's like we're on week 12 in the countdown of weeks. And I mean, I just think it's extraordinary. And I also feel so grateful to know you all and be here. And I'm just really excited about everything, actually. I'm just so grateful to be here with all of you. So thank you really so much.
You're up, Laurence.
There's gotten to be a long story at this point, but 1976, when I sort of started my own, I've been an entrepreneur since 1976. I had my own business, in various businesses, law firms, record companies, production companies. And I wanted to go with the flow and integrate my life and my work. And I've gone with the flow. I've always gone with the flow because I never had any plans. I grew up, there was no, I raised myself, so it's sort of empty. The connection with community, connection with anything really. My spirituality was baseball. I mean, I'd never heard the word spiritual or spirituality or any of the words we talk about now. So I had an empty space to fill up. And so this is how I filled it up. And this is the present moment is inevitable. So this is where I've come in all that time. But going with the flow wasn't always like, oh, it's great, it's wonderful, and what this is so great going with the flow. There's boulders and rocks and rain and wind and snow, and there's a lot of stuff happening, mostly with human beings, not with it. But I've been able to integrate my life and my work, and this last year was a big step in that direction. working with Unity Earth, working with Purpose Earth, I've really integrated my life and my work. It's really one, because this is what I'm here to do. And I know that. And I've had, I've wanted to change the world since I was 18. I'm very literal, as some people know here. And I know that I was brought to this by spirit, for sure, and instructed and guided by spirit. I know that. I was guided by spirit before I even knew about spirit. And occasionally I did listen, and it was always good. Occasionally I didn't listen, and it wasn't a great experience. And there's small interactions with spirit. I don't go away for the weekend. It's like instructions. This is guidance and things that I know that there's no reason for me to know. I mean, other than myself, I've connected to how I grew up. But other than that, there's no connection with how I grew up. What I'm doing now is there's no rationality for me to go to Africa for over 40 years and want to make a movie to change people's perception of Africa. I mean, there's nothing in it was obviously not a root story. But I knew that, and I knew it's something that I had to do, and I've used my own money. I've always never represented an NGO, and I'm going into rooms I'm a lot of the rooms in Clubhouse, which has been really amazing for me. I'm with Africans and Black people, and I've been told you can't talk about African music because you're white, which I knew was going to be something that I had to face sooner or later. I'm glad it's sooner. I have a lot of allies, and the answer to that is I just have to build allies. And I've built a lot of allies, and I have a lot of allies. So it's just, I mean, that interaction, I won't go into the details, but it really made me stronger and more committed to what I'm doing. And I think that so the purpose for me, for Unity Earth and Purpose Earth, is to bring the wisdom that we know and that we've experienced in our lives out into the world. And it's not just indigenous wisdom, it's wisdom. It's the wisdom of the ancestors, it's the wisdom of the earth and the connection to the earth. And we've done some very powerful work so far. We have to build new models. We have to do things differently. We have to speak differently. When we're bringing this wisdom out, it has to be done in a way that resonates. We have to take this outside of our community. And how do we do this? Taking this outside of our community. Who's our audience? What are we doing? How are we doing this? The most important thing for me, which I've talked about in the production meetings from the beginning, is authenticity, diversity, grassroots, and really speaking about the issues of today. What Becky said in the meeting the other day about the diversity of the pro-social group, this diversity, all of the things we've talked about, and how we have to be conscious of all these things. But it's really how we step out into the world. I mean, that's what's the most important thing, because we are grounded. We do have an amazing opportunity. We have an opportunity. We for World Unity, we have choices, any choices we want in the world. We can choose anything. We have a week to program. And if we can do something that's amazing and wonderful, we'll have support. We'll have support from a lot of different places. We want to raise money. I have ideas to raise money for corporations and networks. I was on last year. Some of you know this, not everybody, but programs. New York Times conference with the president of Accenture, which is a major consulting firm, the president of Microsoft US, and the title of the program was Purpose. They're talking about exactly what we're doing. I've made notes of it, and they're exactly what Purpose Earth is talking about. So the people are ready for us. I mean, they're ready. They want change. There's a lot of energy for change around the world. The networks are looking for content that's diverse and authentic and grassroots. The things that we're doing, we have it's really exciting for me, because this is an opportunity. We can create something that's really new and different. And really exciting, and bring people in that have never heard of Convergence Rooms and never heard of Purpose Earth and never heard of Unity Earth, but really want change. The people want guidance. They want help. People are looking. The corporations are looking for it too, and we're right on time. We're right on time. So I'm really happy to be here and work with everybody.
Beautiful, Laurence. We're happy to have you. You're an essential ingredient as we land this, which is really a new model of how we do things in the world. I mean, World Unity Week is an extraordinary co-production of Unity Earth, Sign Network, and Purpose Earth coming together, just hearts first, all in. And that's the model which all of the co-conveners catch that spirit, and they're all in full on, the URI and Audrey's organization, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're modeling that, which is beautiful. Let's talk about the time of the weekly call, because I feel that's probably the most important thing for us. There's one other thing too, which is the name of this group, but let's see how we go with the time first, and then we'll come back. I think Tuesday evenings, we had said, Becky, we're going to work in EDT. And I think Tuesday, why don't you propose a time, Becky, that works for you Tuesday evening, and let's see if that magically works for everybody. That's going to be Wednesday morning.
Yeah, we were going back and forth between Tuesday and Wednesday. And this time, it seems it works for everyone, but then we'd go right into the weekly meeting. And
not enough time. No, we definitely need.
We need 90 minutes, right? We want to allocate 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It would work really well between 5:30 to 7 EDT. I have something from 7 to 8 on Tuesdays, but I could do 5:30 until 7.
Okay.
As a starting place, if that works for everyone.
That's 7:30 a.m. for us, Arena. 7:30. That's Tuesday, yeah.
American Tuesday, Australian Wednesday.
Is it possible to go later? I have a call on a Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 UK, which is 4 to 5:30 EDT. Is that right? But it's every other Tuesday, but it's a fixed thing.
It'd be so late for you though. And I know you're like me with a night owl, but it's still, I'm just like.
What is the later time that you could do, Becky? If there was
I could do
one?
8 to 9:30, but that's 1 o'clock in the morning for you, isn't it?
Well, 6 o'clock, is that better?
No, Becky's got a commitment.
I only had, it's 1 hour a week. It's that time.
What time is the time you've
7 to 8 p.m. EDT.
So what's that? That's
12. Midnight to 1 your time. So then I would be free at 1 your time, Priya. You're 5 hours, aren't you? 5 hours difference from the east.
So then 5, that makes sense. So 5. So it's 5:30. Hang on.
5:30.
5:30 EDT.
Yeah, that's 10:30 your time.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Sorry.
10:30 to midnight your time. Would that work?
Yeah, that's totally fine, because I'm on a call from 9 to 10, 15, 10:30. Yeah, that's fine.
Would that work for Irina? Is that 7:30 to 9 a.m.?
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
Does that work for everybody else?
It's going to be 7:30 for me from next week. Rhiannon?
Can you just confirm again what the final time is?
5:30.
5:30
5:30
to 7. Yeah, that's great.
Lawrence?
5:30 to 7.
EDT. You're on the East Coast too, right?
Yes.
Jon Ramer. That's 2:30 to.
Yeah, that can work for me.
And Becky, you have a hard stop at 7 p.m. But
I can, if you all needed to continue, that would be fine. Yes, I do.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Look, I think if it's 7:30 a.m. It's a nice early start for us. It's good though. We can do that, Arena. Yeah, you happy with that?
Yeah. I'm fine. Yeah.
Wednesday mornings, World Unity Wednesdays.
And then if we ever need the hour before the assembly, maybe we could just have that as a buffer zone that we kind of know that if we ever needed to meet, not to block things out of it, but that potentially could work.
This time slot before the call, we could follow up as needed.
If we needed to,
either as a full group or in certain parts. Yeah, Irina?
I'll be able to use this slot up until I think 9th of June. And then I'll have another commitment before the World Unity Week call.
We'll be on a different planet by the 9th of June.
Yeah, I know but just to sort of, bring that up, that there'll be maybe a week or two before the actual event that I'll have something else on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and there'll
You
be communication during the week too. I mean, we're not going to just
Of
wait
course.
to the
Yeah,
week.
exactly.
that's what I was going to say, is that I think of this weekly call as kind of like a check-in, but there are going to be working groups
Yeah.
that need to be meeting independent of this call. This call would be good to kind of get us all together and see how the pieces are fitting together. But there's going to be, call it what we want, working groups, subgroups, play groups that need to do things between these meetings, just given the amount of activity that I think is going to be needed. And I know that, there's outreach meetings, but I mean actually designed for work groups.
Yep.
Like the exercise to do requirements that I'm talking about. I don't think this is the right place to do it. It's a place to get feedback on it, but that deserves some time unto itself. And there's a number of things like that. So that's how I've been imagining this call being. It's kind of a check-in overview on how we're doing overall.
John, I'd like to give you, before we close today, a period of time just to share your whole view of the vista from what originated in World Unity Week, what went on to UpConvergence, what's been learned, the iterations, the evolution. We're starting with so much already in place because of you and Becky in particular. I want to give you an opportunity to share all that. There's just one little thread I want to try and cover off here. When we were on the call the other day with the Up Coherence group, that's the seed of 8 that's doing this coherence work, which is beautiful. The incredible insight came through that the center of World Unity Week is everywhere. And it really struck me as a huge part of our story. And it's kind of what makes this special, so people aren't on the outside trying to get in, trying to find their way to the center. It's like, now you are the center. Show up as you, your brand, your organization, your initiative, your passion, your areas. I just love it. I think it's this distributed aspect which works extremely well. And it's true. The center of World Unity Week is everywhere, and you are the center of World Unity Week. It's true. That's what we're inviting people into, belonging and ownership. So we've been around the block on the name of this group. Like last year, we were the executive team. People thought that was a bit hierarchical. Executive team to me just meant doing the work. John and Becky have been using the term core team. Core to me just doesn't quite land because of this new story about you are the center. So we kind of have a core team if we're telling everybody that they're the center. So I know it doesn't really matter at one level what we call ourselves, but on another level, it kind of does. So a phrase that just came out during this call is the constellation. Can we just maybe refer to ourselves as the constellation, which is sort of a bit mystical and a bit whatever, but we know what it means. We have our constellation weekly calls. We're the ones, we could call it staff. These are the only group that's getting paid, but staff is a bit boring. So, if we could call it the constellation, I think that would be cool. And it would get around this issue I've got with core team and, who's the center and what's the center. Everyone's the center. The center is everywhere, and I want to say that people like Anna Marie, who are not on this team, very much, she's core. People like Audrey and her group, she's not on this team, but she's core. So I just invite us to consider calling ourselves the constellation. And if we can do that, and we just move on to other things, but how do people feel about that?
I
like
love
that.
the word constellation.
I like it.
I love it, and I just want to share really quickly that I was doing brainstorming exercises about, possible names for the world, and that word came to me, and I didn't feel it was right for the world, but I've been thinking about and just how that resonated overall, so I think that's really, really cool and interesting, and I love it.
Well, a constellation is an area on the celestial sphere in which a group of visible stars forms a perceived outline or pattern, typically representing an animal, mythological person or creature, or an inanimate object.
So beautiful.
We're like the star team.
Yeah,
Talking to Priya about this, it seems like ages ago, but I think it was just last week, Priya. Like, I would think of us as the core team. Like, I don't even want to say that we are something different than being on the team for World Unity, because it does have a form of elitism. But knowing that we have our constellation meeting and that we're having these, they're really the scaffolding is what we're co-creating. And you may have heard me do that last week on the assemblies. I referred to us as being on the production team, and I didn't say that name. And it's not really necessary for anyone but us to know that. It's not like we're withholding information, but it's like We want everybody to join the team.
So Becky, what animal do you want to be?
And we only get to be an animal. We only get to be an animal like all together. It's
We're one animal.
We are the ever-changing, morphing. One day we're a hummingbird, the next day we're a sun, one next day, we keep changing shapes. We're shape-shifting constellation.
Absolutely.
Constellation in motion. John?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, the thing is this, though, there is a difference. It may be for the experience for all the attendees, it's, like Black Oak said, the center of the universe is wherever you are, and definitely get the center of World Unity Week. That's certainly the Burning Man experience too. But we're the people who are promising to deliver this experience for other people.
Yeah.
So as long as everybody gets that, that's what makes us different in this sense. Anna Marie's going to do her part, and I'm grateful for it. But I think there's a difference. It doesn't mean that she's not in the center of it either, right? But like everyone on this call at some moment, that's why I was talking earlier about the statement of intent, our promises together add up to a successful experience for everybody else. And if there's not enough of the right commitment to make that happen, we need to expand the team. And if there's enough, then this is it. But these are the people committed to making this experience happen. And if it's a constellation, that's totally fine with me, especially since it resonates with everyone else. That's the most important thing.
Okay, great. Just a little creative tweak. That's good. So John, take us through your, zoomed out view of where we are, what's important, and what you're seeing as we start to scale this mountain together.
Yeah. Can I just speak to that, John, before you speak?
Yeah.
Just the responsibility carries on. I mean, we're bringing this wisdom, and we have a lot of responsibility to bring this out into the world. It's not just making World Unity Week fun, and interesting. It carries on after that too. We're building it, so it's building. We can't change like branding and everything. We can't change it after that. This is very important that we do this really well, which I'm confident we will.
Yeah, we have about 5 minutes, guys. I want to close the room and restart it again so we can record, because I don't think you can record twice in the same session, Becky, can you?
You actually
You
can
just
stop
press
the recording, stop, and then when you start again, it'll create a new recording.
Oh, that's
separate.
it. That's happened sometime. It didn't always used to be like that. Okay, great.
Do you want to say,
close us out,
John? Well, okay. So here's the thing. This is where I was lamenting on the call after the Sparkle folks, because I'm not saying Sparkle isn't the right thing. I'm not saying Sparkle is the right thing. I'm saying until we get clear on our requirements, it's impossible to know that. That's what I realized. I offered to you guys just an example. And if in fact, I looked at the World Unity Week requirements, they were very different than what we did for Up Convergence. We kind of evolved, So I don't want us to be stuck in what we've done. But at the same time, there is a line of departure here. And it is helpful for all of us to understand. And the way I would get at it, what would be really meaningful to me is if we looked at each of our, and I'm going to use this term guardedly, but each of our customers, right? The Audrey and Emmanuel as like sponsors or customers, co-conveners or customers, the people we're promising, the attendees are customers, the presenters are customers, the stewards are customers, the production team are customers. If we took the time to come up with a 2 or 3 sentence to describe when World Unity Week is over, what do we want a co-sponsor to say? Like, for instance, wow, what a good use of our money and time. This investment in World Unity Week has been more than we ever expected it to be. We had the visibility we wanted, we made the relationships we were hoping to, and now we're set for the next chapter in our own development. A statement like that, like what's the assessment we're trying to produce for each of these customers of ours, will help shape the front of that puzzle. It's very hard to put a puzzle together unless you have that box cover to look at. And for me, the requirements will be that. And if we start at that level, and because we looked at it that way, and that's what you see reflected in that document. So, and I'm willing to do that and lead that effort, independent of this call. So it isn't eating up our time here, but I do think the sooner we can get a couple of pages down that say, hey, this is what all of our hopes and dreams for World Unity Week look like. It'll be so much easier to determine what's the best fill in the blanks, best music, the best platform, the best program, because then we can look and see, well, if we do it that way, will that satisfy all the people that we're serving? So that's my offer to get at that. Now, that document's worth looking at. You don't have to read it in detail, but it does represent the starting point, at least when we went into World Unity Week last year. So, and Laurence, I'm assuming you're in that message thread that we're using on Facebook Messenger.
No, I'm not.
Okay, you should be. Let's get you there.
You are, Laurence.
Okay, I didn't know that. So, okay.
Because you, of all people, I mean, you're asking for detail and want that kind of definition. So take a look at what I dropped in there as an example of what we co-created last year, at least for the up convergence as an example.
Well, I think what you're talking about to me is like building a foundation. When you build a house, you build the foundation first. When you build the foundation
and the architectural plans and the plans, right?
But you have to. The plans are first. You have to have the plans, and then you build the foundation. So yeah,
exactly.
That's what I'm talking about, that kind of information.
And
and then things, we don't have to do things piecemeal. We can do. It's much more organized, and we can sort of attach things to what we're doing much more easily.
Right, and we'll each understand, I think, in that process, what our own aspirations and desires and dreams are for World Unity Week. Because when we look at who we're serving and we look at what we want to offer up here, this vessel for traveling to a new world. So, and I'm totally willing to do that in piecemeal, do it, in one-on-one conversations, do it as a group, whatever shape we want to take. And it doesn't have to eat up a lot of our time here. And, the good thing about all the tools we have is we could do it in a document that people can look at in between meetings and make their suggestions and together articulate just a few pages to start there to get it clear who we're serving and what's the outcome, what's our intended result for those people that we're serving.
And that we will serve in the future.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.